marijuana stocks could see some changes come November. How this election will shift the cannabis industry for the better. We all know that this upcoming election is a big deal, with the presidential election coming alongside new potential admits to the cannabis industry. November 3rd could not come any faster. In the US, as many as 33 states have legalized marijuana for either medicinal or recreational use. This has helped to usher in a new era of the cannabis industry in the past decade. Although it has been a bumpy road to get to this point, things could get a lot better for marijuana stocks in the cannabis industry in the near future. US pot stocks like Trulieve Cannabis Corp, Harvest Health and Recreation Inc, and Scotts Miracle-Gro Inc could all get a major boost from the election depending on how things go. But to our north, Canadian pot stocks like Organigram Holdings Inc and Aurora Cannabis Inc could also see an uptick in sales. Of course, it all depends on which way the presidential election goes, as well as how many states could choose to legalize cannabis. But in the past, we have seen states with cannabis on the ballot overwhelmingly pass the legislation to make marijuana legal. A newcomer could shift the paradigm of the cannabis industry. One of the states voting on whether or not to legalize cannabis is South Dakota. Famous for Mount Rushmore, South Dakota has been working to legalize cannabis for quite some time. This election season, there are 2 ballots on the agenda, which we have not yet seen as the case in the cannabis industry. The state is attempting to push both medicinal and full rec legalization simultaneously. Measure 26, as it's known, would effectively allow those who medically qualify to get cannabis if they choose. This measure would allow them to hold up to 3 ounces of marijuana in addition to growing the same number of plants as their residents. On the other hand, Constitutional Amendment A would legalize marijuana for recreational use around the state. This would allow those over the age of 21 to purchase cannabis with a 15% tax rate. More states could enter the legal cannabis industry on November 3rd. As this election season comes around, as many as 4 more states could legalize marijuana. This includes New Jersey, Mississippi, Arizona, and Montana. If these states were to legalize cannabis, it would be a major deal for marijuana stocks and the cannabis industry as a whole. New Jersey is one state that has a great chance of passing the new law to allow legal marijuana. Public polls have shown that there is a great amount of positive sentiment surrounding what is known as Public Question 1. This comes only a year after the state almost witnessed the passing of a similar bill in 2019. In addition, Arizona also has shown a lot of positivity regarding the potential of its new bill known as Proposition 205. 4 years ago in 2016, the state narrowly passed the proposition with almost 49% in favor of it. But this time around, it seems as though the sentiment surrounding cannabis is overwhelmingly more positive. Which marijuana stocks will benefit from the election? While it's hard to say specifically which pot stocks will benefit from the upcoming election, we know that MSO pot stocks have a great chance. There are companies that work by owning and operating retail cannabis stores. These businesses are the most forward-facing facets of the cannabis industry and for that reason have the most exposure to the legislative changes. Some MSO pot stocks have more advantageous positions in the market. This means that they have a larger presence in some specific states. Investors should do proper research on which pot stocks may be able to benefit from the distinct laws that may go into place. Because there is no use in trying to predict the future, all we can do is hope things go as positively as they have in prior years. With that in mind, only time will tell how these changes affect the cannabis industry.